Welcome back to our Save a Seat series here on Patreon. I am your podcast host, Chloe, and this is sadly the last episode in our Disability, Equity, and Inclusion series for the month of July, which is Disability Awareness Month. Trust we will do it again next year because this is a cause that's very close to my heart, and I'm so excited to be talking to Olivia Mosey today. We are getting into why advocating is so important, why visibility is so important, and she has a really great perspective as someone who works in the creative arts field, as someone who presents to both children and adults about how important it is to advocate for people with disabilities. So welcome back, Olivia.
Thanks.
So for those of our listeners who did not listen to the Spotify episode, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Olivia Mosey. I work full-time for Riley Children's Foundation on the communications team. So I primarily work with our Riley kids and families, helping them tell their stories. And I'm also disabled. And kind of the two lenses that I primarily speak about disability. One, I have been a speaker for about the last 10 years in the community about disability rights, disability awareness, disability history. Started with the Joseph Maley Foundation, speaking to kids as part of their disability awareness curriculum for kindergarten through 8th grade, and then branched out from there because it's not just kids that need to learn about disability awareness. So I've spoken to different conferences, different professional groups. And more recently, I've gotten involved with the performing arts community. So have been an actor, both playing characters with disabilities and without disabilities on stage, and just being a representation of the importance of including people with disabilities in the arts.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Yeah, of course.
So in terms of history, like if we're going to get into it, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go in terms of that advocacy, that visibility, the representation. How do you feel like, in the scope of things that disability history looks for us?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of we have come so far, but I'm constantly reminded of how far we have to go. And it's incredibly timely that we're having this conversation because yesterday was the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So the largest civil rights protections for people with disabilities. And that is 34 years old now.
1990 then?
1990, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And at the same time, like that is younger than I am. And that is pretty wild for civil rights protections.
Right.
And I think the trick with disability is that, yes, the ADA has made a huge difference and has made access, increased access for a lot of people. And there are still a lot of attitudinal barriers that people face. And I think unless you live that through your personal experience or through knowing someone with a disability or, just being connected to the disability community, you don't realize how many of those obstacles still exist. So yes, I celebrate the ADA and all the people who made that possible and have made change possible since then. And I am very aware of the work that is still left to do.
Yeah. I follow a couple of Instagram pages because I mentioned in the last episode, I also work in the disability field. I have a brother with a disability, but he's independently mobile. And I see a lot of people that need mobility aids or they're in a wheelchair. And so I follow a couple of these pages that talk about like these ADA compliance issues and like how they will go somewhere and be unable to access it because of the way that it's set up, because of the doors, or that there's somehow no ramp. Like there's obstacles, barriers that people that are independently mobile would never have to worry about. But all of a sudden they can't access these spaces. And like you said, if you don't know someone that has a disability or uses a mobility aid, it might not even occur to you.
Right. And I walk with crutches most of the time. And so I'm very aware that there are a lot of spaces. I mean, even my apartment building, like if I was in an accident and needed a wheelchair, I would not be able to live here. My favorite coffee shop has a step in front, So I'm more mindful of places that are fully accessible.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just like the disability experience is varied. If you say, "Oh, I have, we have this one accommodation, we're set." It's like, no, no. You
Fine.
have a whole lot of people with a whole lot of different needs. And I think that's where the attitudinal importance is too, because it's not just, can I get into this space? It's, do I feel welcome? It's, if I need additional support, do I feel comfortable asking, the staff,
Mhm.
um, how, what other steps are they going to take to make it a good experience for me,
Mhm.
um, as opposed to just shutting me out.